From now on, I'm actually going to try and stream as much of the Roller Coaster Tycoon Let's Play recording for time lapses as I can. So that does mean that I'll be able to produce more of these videos in a sense because well, up to now, I would have either streamed or recorded for my Let's Play, and sometimes it was a really tough decision to choose one of the two, and I still don't really know why I never decided to do both at the same time, but that's basically what I'm going to try and do in the future. From now on, as much as I can, because, you know, it's fun to do some streams, but it's also important to keep making those videos, I suppose, and they're both fun to do, so why not do them at the same time? It's also a lot more efficient. The only real downside to it is, well, for one, the time lapses are a little bit less concentrated. As you can see, I'm kind of going all over the place, and usually it's not too much of a problem because I try to do these streams alone and not in a group of people talking because, you know, that is kind of distracting. But other than that, of course, you get things like technical errors in the streaming. Like last time, Nightbot died a couple of times, and if you don't know what that is a program that allows you to that allows people in the stream to request songs that the stream will then automatically play, and then afterwards Twitch will ban my video because copyright, but whatever. And it just died, and stuff like that might always happen in the time lapse, and that means that the time lapse isn't as great as I maybe would like it to be. And sometimes, you know, people will come into the stream and ask, hey, can you show off the park a little bit? And I'll do that, but I won't do any quick POVs or anything like that, so I do have to kind of find a compromise between the two things. But yeah, what I'm working on right now is basically this. It's a temple-ish building. It's got the classical elements in it, obviously, and those amazing Ralphie sets, because I just love those things too much. But I decided that, hey, this is that park with the this joke is getting old theme, so I decided to just get some of that as well. And I opened, what's that thing called again? Station Jim's Spooky Manor, I think that's the name. Well, he's got loads of spooky sets anyway. I opened all of those things because they're good, and tried placing all of those objects and actually making a classical building with all of that stuff, and it actually turned out to be really nice. And I was able to get some nice details in the building that I normally couldn't because Ralphie's sets don't quite have some of the pieces that Station Jim's sets offer, especially if there are like 7 of them. So that turned out to be really nice. I still do want to add a couple of details to that, but this is pretty much what I was working on in this time lapse, and there was something else which I think I forgot. There was some foliage work and also work on that spinning CFR thing. I don't even know what to call that thing, but just generally making the park look better because obviously some of the things that I've been skipping up to now is doing placing things like park maps here and there, the halls where you put all your goods when you go and enter a ride. Small things are basically the things that I'm skipping in favor of the larger things, but those things are still obviously going to have to be done, so that's also stuff. And then there's the interior of this building, which I don't even know why I really bothered with that, because as soon as I entered, everyone was like, in-game thing, Twister, scrambled eggs, and yeah, I'm sorry. The idea behind this was some epic indoor flat ride, perhaps even in the dark with loads of effects and stuff like that, but I just placed that thing over there as a kind of dummy so I could have something in the building, but I'm not really going to work on anything in it. I just wanted to fill this area with a building because there was nothing yet, and this was really the only thing that I wanted to that I could kind of place in that room over there. And you know, I didn't want to build the 1000th building without a purpose, because everything needs a purpose. If I like, what did Agent Smith say again? I don't know. Without purpose, there's no purpose. Purpose, Neo, Mr. Anderson, and that's basically. I love that guy. Seriously, he's amazing. But that's off topic. Oh yes, vines. This was just that moment when I realized that adding vines to all of these buildings make them look so much better, and at some point I think I went vine crazy, and I still need to do that with the park as a whole because this park doesn't have nearly enough vines. Because if you want something to look dilapidated but also really awesome and adventurous and spooky at the same time, and basically all of those things, vines are something that you can often use. And it actually turned out to be really handy for this facade as well, because as you can see, this facade is placed very close to that swinging ship, or is it a swinging, rotating something ship. And the problem with that is, although it does look good, and that's the reason why I built it like this, it is way too close to the ship. And if I only place one tree next to those buildings, the ship is going to crash into the tree. And you know that I like my trees, so this is of course a catastrophe for me. But then it turns out that I can get the greenery in the buildings with vines as well, so that's really nice. And I suppose a building doesn't have to be a ruin or completely overgrown by nature to add vines to it. Hell, some buildings that are built in the real world have vines too. And I'm sorry about that jump cut. I think that was actually a jump cut from one stream to another stream, and then there were also jump cuts from a crash to starting up the game again. And at some point, Fraps didn't have any room to record anymore, because Fraps is amazing. I've got a hard disk of 1 terabyte and fill it up every time with Fraps recordings because they're pretty big. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that they're uncompressed in that sense. But yeah, that's something I just have to put up with. I mean, the quality is really good though, which is something that I'm not too sure if I can really say that about this facade. The thing with this is, I've said this before, but I feel like it's getting old, the theme in general, and all of the buildings look very similar. Of course, each time I try to add some new elements, but there is very obviously one, well, certain style within the park as a whole, and there are no different areas with a different theming. There are some slightly different areas in the sense that you have got the mountain range, and you've got the castles and the more spooky area, but it's still very similar in that sense. And I actually don't know if I've talked about this earlier on, but in the next park that I'm going to do for my Let's Play, yeah, I think I told this in the stream, but not yet on the video, but in the next park of my Let's Play, I'm actually going to try to divide the park over multiple park files. So it's not all going to be built in one park file like I'm doing right now, but rather I'm gonna have different sections with different themes and put them in different parks as well, and then, well, quote unquote, pretend like it's one park. Now that might sound very stupid, but it's actually something that I greatly recommend people to do. And it's an idea I think started off with Heth. I don't know if he still likes people to call him that. I'll call him HS Designs, just in case. And basically, he's got a park, Kingdom of Legends. I think that's the name, yeah. But it's a beautiful park, but it's built in many different park files, with one park file for each theme. And the reason he did that was because he has a crappy computer, but it's really an excuse that he doesn't even have to give, because no computer in the world, even NASA's computers, aren't probably able to run Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 in a huge park. Well, like that. Seriously, it always crashes. So I can't blame him for doing that. But that's something that I want to try next time, because it means I can build better parks, and it almost feels like starting off with a new park every time you build a new section. So that's really something nice that I want to try. But that'll all be for the next season. And now I need to head over to the next episode, and this is it for this episode, so see you in the next one. Also, I'm not going to cut this video because I keep cutting videos, and before they actually end. That's a problem that I definitely